Hello everyone, Lonely Kaiju here, coming at you with a different video relatively to what's already on the channel. This is not video game related, or is it Godzilla related? It's actually going to be animated related. Me sitting here very early in the morning after binge watching a few animes for the past few weeks, but this one definitely stayed up all night to watch. For some reason, it compelled me to. But yeah, so it's a bit different. It's not necessarily a review or spoiler per se. It's more so just my overall thoughts on it. And the later I guess keep myself from making this recording, the more I feel like I'm gonna lose the whole reason why I even push the record button in the first place. So yeah, the anime that I'm talking about is Hi Gamer Girl. That's right now on Netflix. And for the beginning, I kind of pushed watching it mainly because of the trailer that shows on Netflix. When you hover over its panel, it starts with like the trailer and saw CG 3D looking. I'm like, oh, okay, this is. I know anime, a lot of them do that now. There's gonna be scenes where it's like 3D rendered, like, so it kind of, the appeal towards it kind of just went away at that, just seeing that. But I was still, surfing through Netflix, figuring out what to watch, and over a rearrangement of certain accounts, I guess you could say that, I had to rebuild my whole watch list, and I just decided to put it on it, like, oh, I'll get to it. So then yeah, here we go. Hours later, I finally got to it, and from the other stuff that I put on my watch list, yeah, if it's animated or if it was episodic related, yeah, I would watch maybe 1 or 2 episodes a night, then rinse and repeat. But for some reason, this particular anime had me, I guess you could say, hooked, that I watched the whole 12 episode in one sitting. And yeah, I kind of just want to speak my mind on it, per se, that I found it pretty fascinating. There probably, other games, other animes that do talk, bring in the video game stuff into aspects. So it's definitely one thing that already should encapsulate your interest, especially more so retro, because it takes place in the early 90s, mid 90s time. So yeah, it's strange because, like I said, this is not necessarily a review, so I'm going to be kind of jumping around in a sense, but it's not necessarily spoiler because I won't talk about any particular plot details or anything. But one thing, or 2 specific things I do want to say out loud. I guess one of them is that there's the fuckboys. Apologize for my language, but there are some fuckboys in this damn anime, and obviously when they come, even though it's super short stuff, it's like, really, come on. And then the other thing is, it's mainly 2 main characters. There is a third character, main / side, and then for sure at least a couple side characters for sure. But our female main character does not necessarily speak at all. She's mainly silent. She does her is all through facial expressions and certain subtle movements, and yeah, it was interesting, and it was bothering me, the fact that it was like that. It's cool, I guess, but it was, inside it was bothering me, and I was getting super upset, I was saying out loud that, oh, I really hope this person says something, at least that breaking the silence eventually towards our male main character by the end of the season. And not, spoil. This is not, I guess, spoiler, sure. Yeah, that doesn't really happen. There's still no speech, and there might not be any speech. This anime is also in a manga. Most animes are, not all of them. But this one is based off of a manga, and I didn't even know that. I just saw it on Netflix. It's another Netflix, type of co-creation. I'm like, okay. And, there's actually, definitely a source material towards it. Like, probably the manga goes probably much more in depth. And maybe at some point it does. The female main character does talk. But I don't know, and hopefully a second season will arrive at some point and, continue the story, because I guess spoiler, it does kind of end in a cliffhanger, per se, after, a whole 12 episode. Yeah, it ends in it ends with a cliffhanger, and therefore, this whole comedy romance thing, it's still going on. You want the main characters to win, or at least I do. But your usual thing, like, there's one character's too much in their head, or in this case, the female character doesn't really speak, doesn't know how to really translate that certain emotion, specifically, especially on how she's living in her life, and just from just a main boy character with a single mom and probably a average, I guess, middle class, I would say, and female main character, on a higher class. So yeah, that's also a whole other divide there, and what brings them all together. And, with the title of the anime, it's based on games within that era, the 90s, early 90s, late 80s era. Don't quote me, please. That kind of brings that gap together. And going through other obstacles, but that's kind of the focus. That's what brings them together. And also, at some point in the anime, kind of tears them apart, and this other main / side character that is in a way pivotal in the middle of the season. But yeah, the animation's pretty cool. The 3D one is I'm still not too used to it, but there's a few other animes that I've watched that use that style quite a bit. But it just takes getting used to. Guess one more thing I would like to add: the opening and the end credit music is pretty awesome. So yeah, that's mainly it for my initial thoughts of watching this anime, or all night watching this anime. And yeah, I guess one more part would be in one of the posters it shows the three main characters, and yeah, it is a romance comedy, so I guess fortunately or unfortunately, right, in my case, in my opinion, it's unfortunate, there is a love triangle. And that kind of sucks, because yeah, you're rooting for the main character, but sometimes, they're oblivious, or they don't know how to really express the feelings, and there might be some confrontations and stuff. And yeah, so I believe for the three main characters, I don't know, I forgot already what's one of the names. The other one, the main girl character, is Ono, I believe is how you say it, Ono. Then the male character, I forgot the name that they they use mostly, but he also has gone towards Haruo, which is kind of funny, because bringing it to a Godzilla related thing, the Godzilla anime also had a similar, actually the same name for actually its main character as well, and they're both a bit on the crazy side, just a tad bit. That's one thing that could really bring it back to a Godzilla. So yeah, this kind of open-minded initial thoughts of the anime, high score girl. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one, whenever that is. This is the Lonely Kaiju, and I wish you all well.